This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling podcasting network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Dead man walking.
You've done it now. You've gone and made a big mistake. And I can't allow you to think you can just walk away. So turn around and face the piper you're gonna pay. 'Cause the end is now. This is gonna
Hey wrestling fans, welcome to episode number 58 of Off the Top Rope Wrestling Podcast. I'm Mike, and with me as always is Rex. What's up, Rex?
Not much, just enjoying my plate of kielbasa.
Which again, as Rex's Big E obsession has no end.
Yo, Thursday's kielbasa night. Come at me, bro.
Kielbasa is it's like lower tier sausage.
Oh, please. Get out of here, son. Get out of here.
All right. This week we've got some news to discuss, including another name associated with TNA has officially left the company.
Mm-hmm.
Raw news, with a little bit of tragedy involved there. And then we're going to talk No Mercy 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Which last week, whenever I initially kind of mentioned that was the one we're doing, only the SmackDown stuff came to mind. And rewatching it, that's a pretty good reason why. But we'll get there.
Hey, oh wait. Was Tajiri on SmackDown or Raw at this point?
That was a SmackDown. Cruiserweight titles for SmackDown, so.
Oh. Alright, well there you go.
Those were the three matches that was the third match that really kind of I remembered, and it's I guess I blocked out the rest of it, but we'll get there. Let's not jump ahead.
Okay.
Let's kick things off with Raw, and more than likely a Raw that kind of had to be rewritten because of some really tragic news.
Yes.
And I'm sure, as everybody knows, the news was that I guess it was on Monday whenever it happened, but Daniel Bryan's father passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So, any condolences to his family and everything, and for everything that they're going through, and just a total whirlwind couple of weeks for him. I mean, between probably the biggest professional night of his career, getting married, and everything else, just...
Yep, the ultimate high to the ultimate low.
And, I hate to follow that up with something kind of trivial, which obviously, most 99.9% of the things we talk about on this show are pretty fucking trivial in the long scheme of things. But at least on a character level, does nobody in the WWE locker room like Daniel Bryan?
Well, to be fair, wasn't there a stretch where we were talking about where Daniel Bryan wasn't coming out and helping people? It's karma.
Because, a few weeks ago with Triple H, he just takes this 30-minute long beat down and, and even then, it didn't make much sense. And then on this one, he takes a 30-minute beat down from Kane and nobody comes out.
Well, would you want to fuck with the Monster King? I don't know. It makes sense, I guess, storyline. I would hope they would at least just mention it, because it does make plenty of sense that people are going to come out there because of the authority, and now that they have an entire mercenary army with them, just be oh hey, yeah. I'm sure now that everyone's bringing it up, it will get mentioned, like they did with the Ironclad contract. And just being well, it was Johnny Laurinaitis who made the Ironclad contract. Of course it wasn't Ironclad.
Because at least, when Triple H is doing it, you could have guys on the ramp and him look up, see them. It's take another step, you're working somewhere else tomorrow. And just kind of completely, instead of just ignoring it and letting it kind of be this elephant in the room. And then with Kane, send out some face choppers. That was always something that WCW would do really well whenever a dominant heel would come in. Send Sound like your Zack Ryders, your Justin Gabriels, guys who are just happy to be on Raw, and let Kane beat the shit out of them, and then continue beating up Daniel Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, you know.
Let them get some Raw time getting their ass beat. You gave Hornswoggle a Raw match.
Yo, I actually heard their lockup on main event was pretty good. Or was it SmackDown?
They
I
did
haven't been
both,
keeping.
I believe.
I haven't been keeping up with the ancillary stuff. Which, you know what? It gets El Torito wrestling, which I'm okay with.
I'm pretty sure
Now
that
if
I mentioned, at the time that they were going to run this angle whenever they signed him, and you were all excited about it, and you're like, no, they'll find something better for him.
yeah. Well, to be fair, it took them this long to get to it. I don't know. I gotta admit, Hornswoggle's been entertaining me in his like 3MB get up and shit. Sue me.
It's just because you're happy to see more Heath Slater on your TV.
I'm always happy to see 3MB on my TV.
Even though it's kind of this weird thing that they've all dropped, like, the rock star stuff now. They're back to wrestling in tights and everything, and it's kind of odd. They don't look right as 3MB unless they're in, like, the jeans and shit.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. Maybe they're kind of trying to keep them away from that actual aspect of it because of Adam Rose.
Maybe, but Rose wears, well, at least he did in NXT, wore tights, so I assume.
No, but I wonder if they're just trying to keep them away from the more rock star imagery.
Maybe, which would be kind of dumb. Because that's kind of a perfectly good undercard feud to kind of introduce the Rose character with.
Mm-hmm.
That, 3MB could say it's like, we're the only rockers here. And if you want to come join us, that's fine, but otherwise we're going to have issues and then have some matches.
I don't know. I wonder if it's just one of those weird WWE things where you can't have two similar themed gimmicks going.
You can't have two Steves, the fans will get confused. Of course, it's lasted. He's been William Regal longer than he is Steve Regal, so.
They really just need to get them to be the three birds all the time.
I'd be okay with that, to be honest.
I know you would.
And then Hornswoggle could be their Fantasia, their Bad Street.
There you go. Perfection.
All right, but beyond that, that was kind of a shitty Raw.
I thought Barrett and Sheamus was good.
I don't think it was bad, but I don't know. I think that if Barrett was going to stay off TV for so long and then come back and basically get a push, there needs to be something different. And there's not. It's just he might be bad news, he might do all this, but whenever the bell rings, it's plain old Wade Barrett with the same shitty finishers that he had a few months ago.
No, it's not. It's not the same old Wade Barrett. There's more shit-eating grin in the ring. Yeah, he does need a different finisher. I will agree with that.
And like his moveset in general, there's just he's so fucking vanilla. And that's the thing. Outside of like the bad news stuff, there is nothing interesting about Wade Barrett. He's, people gave Curtis Axel all kinds of shit. Wade Barrett is Curtis Axel who can talk a little bit more and wrestle a little worse.
Oh, disagree because I think he has a personality. It's not he could talk a little better. Come on, he is infinitely leagues ahead of Curtis Axel on the mic and personality-wise. At least getting that personality across. I think that was demonstrated a lot with them on commentary. To point out, because even then I'm like, all right, Axel, share personality. He kind of mumbled a lot. He was very soft-spoken. And like, I don't know what, he just talks so quiet. I'm like, what the fuck? Someone get the mic closer to his mouth.
I've said it with Axel. They just need Bobby eating him. They never let Bobby talk, and for good reason. Just
No, just need to have a bunch of ridiculous segments where he tries to match the feats of his father and fails horribly. Throws a football to himself, tries to run and catch it, and trips and falls over. But yeah, can we just say, fuck RVD?
yeah, that had to be the worst Cesaro match I've seen in a long time.
I'm going to make this statement. I have seen two, not one, but two Great Khali matches involving Cesaro that were better than that match Monday involving RVD. Oh my god. It's bad enough that once you've seen an RVD match, you've seen them all. He's dragged down Cesaro.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. So what did you know, it's the talk of everybody right now. What's your opinion on the Cesaro theme song?
Once I heard it not in that arena, like the actual track, it's fine. I love the siren. I gotta say, I kind of hate them because I really was hoping. I heard the siren and I'm like, yes, please tell me we're getting, please tell me we're getting this. I was like, oh my god, please. But no. No.
It's just step one on him becoming big bad booty Cesaro.
I know. I was just like, I had a brief moment of no shit, no way that's Steiner. And then I'm like, oh, it's Cesaro. Please tell me we're getting Big Bad Booty Cesaro. But no luck.
To me, I mean, it's something where it needs the basis isn't bad, but it doesn't feel finished. It feels like there needs some more layers of instrumentation. There needs to be, another couple of riffs or something worked in there. And they're not really afraid to do that. I mean, you look at like Goldust theme compared to what it was in like '95. They basically perfected it over time, and so I'm optimistic.
Yeah, the skeleton is there. If I could get Cesaro to say Freaks and Peaks on Raw, it will be the greatest day of my life. Or if he's scratch that, it would be the second greatest day of my life to any day that he wears chainmail to the ring.
Cesaro is your hookup.
No, scratch that. That would be my second greatest day. The greatest day would be Scott Steiner returning on Raw.
To get swung by Cesaro. All right. Is there really anything else from Raw?
I'm loving the Shield evolution stuff, and although it was pretty funny with Triple H's voice gone, but yeah, that's it's a hell of a feud so far, and honestly, I think at this point it's going to and should deserve top billing at Extreme Rules.
Which doesn't surprise me. That's probably what's going to happen.
And it's the
But
right
then
decision,
again,
I think. I think it's the more worthy feud of it at this point.
well, that's because for Daniel Bryan's first feud after doing everything, they're giving him the most lame dick challenger.
That's fine. You got to space this out. We can't.
But then again, I've been predicting that every single misstep WWE has taken with Bryan was going to do some damage, and yet none of it has. Maybe he's just fucking penetrable to shitty booking. Throw him with the Wyatts for 3 weeks, he's out over more than ever. Screw him over, 6 months in a row on fucking pay-per-views. He's fine. Bring Brie Bella and her acting into it. He comes out okay. So, maybe it's just unsinkable.
Maybe. Can't stop the signal. But here's the thing, though. I think it is the right decision. I think Shield and Evolution is the hotter feud, even if it was someone not Kane, not Kane in that thing. I mean, you're talking about two of the most dominant stables in WWE history going up against each other. It's the right call. You think we get Flair ringside for Extreme Rules?
I don't know. The rumor is that he's showing up this week on Raw. Did they
Oh,
announce it? Or
I hadn't seen that. No, I have no idea.
yeah, it's definitely going around. I don't know if it's something WWE announced or just something that's, you know,
Dude, that's awesome.
but if he does, it'd be interesting to see what they do with him.
Yeah. Maybe he can hang out with The Miz again.
I know you are a huge Miz Mark.
Okay, I feel like I've said this on the podcast before, but I feel like if you take Miz for what he is, he's perfect in that role. I honestly think if Miz had not been pushed to the main event of a WrestleMania, no one would have a fucking problem with him.
Well, as I said, in that era, I was like very in and out as far as being a wrestling fan went. And like I didn't really know that there's this huge backlash because I remember at the time, like reading on the blogs, how behind him the internet seemed to be on that push.
They were for a long time. And then everything just tanked. It's like Miz, mid-card heel. Perfect. Perfect. Don't try and make him a face. Have him be really good at what he does. He really actually understands how to be a heel and gets it and does the little things right. He's just not good enough to be a main eventer. And not everyone's going to be.
Apparently, it was PW Insider that said that Flair is going to be on Raw,
Huh.
or that he's at least booked for the show. Knowing WWE at times, they'll tease it and then they'll just put him on like the post show panel or something.
Or just not even have him there.
Have him come out for the crowd.
Yeah.
But that actually kind of reminds me of another report that we can kind of talk about before moving on to TNA.
Do you have a few more reports we could talk about?
And that is the report that Batista, after Extreme Rules, they're pulling him off the road. And nobody's really come out and said that if that was something that was planned the entire time, or if it's kind of reactionary. But if it is reactionary, it's kind of, I've got a theory about it. That after,
I don't think it could be reactionary at this point.
I think that they want him to be a baby face by the time Guardians of the Galaxy comes out.
Man.
And so I think if they have him take the fall, have Evolution, kind of kick him out the night after, and leave him off TV for a couple months, and then let him come back against Orton, Triple H, and whoever they replace him with, that they might be able to get him a face reaction.
I don't know. I think it was the plan all along. Especially since now they're kind of in a spot where Batista's a big deal. People are actually giving a good reaction and not sort of they're giving him a fuck you reaction in a good way. I don't know. We'll see. I think it's a mistake if they try and bring it back as a face again.
WWE at times seems so risk averse on that kind of thing. And their own, from what Meltzer and everybody has said, that their own thought seems to be that movies do better whenever there are people involved in them are faces. With Guardians of the Galaxy, is it probably going to matter? No. But
it's also not a WWE movie. I think that might be the big difference here. Unless WWE Studios somehow got involved with Guardians of the Galaxy, and I didn't realize it.
I doubt that.
Especially with the character he's playing. He's playing fucking Drax the Destroyer, man. Let him fucking be a heel all he wants. It's more natural for him. He's frankly better at it. And I don't know, because I think you still will get a title run from him, and to do that, I think he comes back, and I think it's to beat Daniel Bryan, unless he's sort of backed off on that part of their handshake deal, and they kind of worked out something where he's not going to be the title holder.
I don't see a situation where it makes sense.
Or what makes sense?
Batista being the champion. Because to me, I mean, I think the closest thing to a money match that you can have is Lesnar Bryan.
But the question becomes, does that match need the title?
I think if you, especially even with chicanery, I think that if you have him lose the title, I think that that hurts the match a little.
And I think when you sit there, I don't think it necessarily has to be Batista having it through SummerSlam. Maybe Bryan gets it back before that. I don't know. I don't know how long his break is supposed to be.
It's basically
Did they
just,
say?
I haven't heard how long it's supposed to be, but just that he's off all shows going forward for now. So,
Yeah, so I mean, it's not something where they could have like a quick Batista run. I don't know. We'll see. And I think maybe not even him as a title run. I think he will have some title matches. At least one. So we'll see. I don't know. Unless shit completely gets changed, so I don't know.
maybe Triple H doesn't do handshake agreements. That's why it's not in writing, because I am the game. And you got played.
I don't even know what to classify that impression as. Just, it's not Triple H.
Sure it is. I added the to the end of my consonants. What more do you want? A man is only human.
Unless you're a god, like Triple H.
I think a god could have a better match than Kane. But we'll get there.
Yes.
So, do you want to talk TNA?
What's there to talk?
How nothing on the show matters at all?
I mean, I don't even understand. I watch TNA and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Everything just feels fucked up about it.
And, I think I was kind of thinking about this week. And I think a big part of the reason why is because there's absolutely nobody on the show that feels special. There's nobody that feels like, holy shit, I can't wait to see what that character does next. Eric Young beat Magnus clean for the title. It obviously, it hurt Magnus considering how Eric Young had been booked, but didn't really do
Could you really hurt Magnus any more than he already
It
had
didn't do
been?
shit for Eric Young because
Yeah.
Magnus wasn't a big deal at all. Their tag
It's
team
just,
stuff, the Bromans and the Wolves wrestle every fucking week, but it's always going to end the exact same way. And neither of them really mean anything anymore. The Wolves at best are crybabies.
Yep. With a shitty haircut.
And Bromans are still like a joke comedy team that somehow are champions. They're X Division champions. Sonata, he's come over. He's been in a couple of tag matches. They haven't given you any reason to think that this is a very special wrestler because you haven't even seen the match where he won the fucking title yet.
Yep.
There are no characters on the show that feel special at all. It's with WWE, even whenever it's creative can be a little rough. It's like, well, shit, Cesaro might do something awesome, or, I'm gonna see what happens with Daniel Bryan or Bray Wyatt or these characters that kind of are captivating. And right now, TNA has shit.
And you know what the worst part is? All this money they have freed up. Well, one, Bad Influence is gone.
Well, Daniel's officially, Kazarian is following him shortly, apparently.
Well, I mean, he's taking bookings. He's gone at this point. All the money that they freed up from that, they're probably not going to use it wisely. They're not going to do what they need to do.
They're going to hire the one guy from the Ascension, apparently.
Actually, he's not that bad. I mean, we saw how much Ascension took a downturn after he punched that cop.
He's better than Conor O'Brien. There, that's some great.
Well, and whoever replaced him.
I think Victor's not horrible.
I think
just
Kenneth. I don't even remember what name he went by in the Ascension. I think he's I think the Kenneth Cameron fellow is better than him though, by far. Hey, at least Kalisto's debuting on NXT. Speaking of NXT.
Yeah, but from what I saw, like the spoiler picture, it's kind of
might be dark Matty.
That, and if that's what they actually go with, it feels like, with his potential, it kind of feels like a step down from what it could be. But
who are you to hinder El Local?
Don't get too NXT spoilery for the people out there, just in case.
Oh.
But yeah, and then the other news, obviously, Daniels is gone, and I guess Kazarian's contract ends within the next couple weeks.
Yep.
So, what do you think happens with them? With Sabin.
They cruise around the Indies for a while.
Do you think
maybe do some Japan stuff?
I was gonna say, do you think any of them kind of end up with the AJ Styles situation where they split Ring of Honor and New Japan?
Probably. I think you'll see them a lot in PWG, especially Kazarian, considering that's kind of his home base, and they're kind of. I think Daniels is based in SoCal now too.
Yeah.
So you'll see him a lot there.
And this is like no absolute disrespect at all to Kazarian, who I do really like. But Daniels would be like the perfect fucking Bullet Club member.
Oh, yeah.
You could, theoretically, you could run like him and Styles against the Machine Guns in New Japan.
Yep.
Especially if they are apparently trying to get some English announcers to try and break into this market a little more after the Ring of Honor shows,
awesome.
That
would be awesome. New Japan, give me a call. What up?
Yeah, like the show isn't a pain in the ass to put together now. Imagine you living in Japan.
Dude, I don't have to live in Japan to announce for it.
You just fly over?
Oh, I forgot they do iPay-per-view properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do a lot of iPay-per-views.
Yeah, that's true.
Apparently, Jim Ross met with someone with New Japan, but like it wasn't considered serious just because of how much time he'd have to spend over there.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I don't know. Did they get the Big 12 network over there?
They have to develop a plane that'll take them from Norman, Oklahoma to Japan in 3 hours.
Yeah. I don't think there's any other noteworthy news, is there?
Not really. I mean, the Ring of Honor New Japan stuff has all pretty much been announced. Shelley's making his Ring of Honor return in the New Japan show. And the Toronto one. Apparently he's not booked on the New York one, so.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. Huh.
Because the Time Splitters are coming for the junior tag team title match in Toronto, so.
Oh, okay. Fun.
And Shelley's been doing like indie shots now. I know that he was on like the 2CW iPay-per-view last week and things like that. So.
He needs to shoot over to DGUSA and have another match with Ricochet. Because I enjoyed their J Cup match, and they need to have a longer match.
I think he wrestled. I believe he wrestled Gargano at that iPay-per-view, which I haven't tracked down. Although it was Styles and Gargano, and then it was him and
When did Styles wrestle Gargano?
for 2CW last week.
Oh, okay. Huh. Man, Gargano just needs to get signed already. Bro's taking over everywhere. He's like our generation's Chris Jericho. That's who whenever I watch him, that's who I kind of think of.
Huh.
All right, let's get on to No Mercy.
All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and whenever we come back, we will talk Hell in a Cell, we'll talk matches of the year, and we'll talk Katie Vick. It's No Mercy 2002, and we'll be right back.
You see, life is greatness, and greatness is what you make out of, you understand?
Hey everybody, it's Mike and Rex from Off the Top Rope. We wanted to take this break to let you know all the ways you can interact with the show and all the ways you can listen to the show. You can get links to everything we talk about here from our website, which is offthetoprope, one word, .libsyn. That's LIBSYN.com.
If you want to email the show, it's topropepodcast@gmail.com. We'll read your comments on the air, so let us know what you think.
To follow us on Twitter, we're at Top Rope Podcast. We tweet show updates, post the show as soon as it's up, retweet news from around the world of wrestling, and sometimes it's just random wrestling thoughts by yours truly. All wrestling talk, all the time on Twitter.
You can now like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Top Rope Podcast. This is still new, but we're going to be working on adding pictures, links, and all kinds of good stuff.
You can follow us on Tumblr at topropepodcast.tumblr.com. There we post matches of the day, wrestlers of the day. We try and update those just about every day. We add random photos, lots of fun stuff. Now if you want to listen to us, you can listen to us through an RSS reader. If you want to listen to the show through an Android app like Dogcatcher, Linux program like Rhythmbox, or a Windows program like Media Monkey, among many others, this is the way you do it. You'll make sure the episodes are delivered to you just as soon as they're uploaded.
If you're on iTunes, we're available there too. Just do a search for Off the Top Rope. Look for our logo, subscribe, give us a good review.
We're also available on Stitcher. Just search Off the Top Rope or Pro Wrestling. Either way, we're right there on the front page. There are lots of ways to interact with the show and lots of ways to get the show to your computer, iPhone or iPad, Android device, BlackBerry, whatever you use to listen to podcasts. We hope you check us out, and we'll be right back with the show review.
Take a look at it, learn to love it. I'm not going anywhere.
You think you know me, think you know me, think you know me.
Yeah, I'm on Durango, number 95. Take me to the home, drip boots and a ultra lounge. See heaven, flash a horse show. Knock it nice and smooth, step back and watch it flow. Yeah, never gonna stop, never.
Alright, so No Mercy 2002. And this was shortly into the brand split and like the second pay-per-view after they split the title for the first time.
Uh-huh. So we get annoying Bischoff and Stephanie stuff.
Yeah. Things that kind of laid the groundwork for another show that we've reviewed.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
And we also get RVD trying to be Ric Flair.
God, I've really come around to not minding RVD, to just thinking he might be one of the most overrated wrestlers of all time. So thanks, WWE Network.
But we kick off. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we could talk about everything, as it kind of comes to our mind. But then we'd go like back in order, and it'd be
Awesome.
we start the show with Black Gold, Booker T and Goldust against Christian and Chris Jericho.
Booker T and Goldust, best odd couple tag team ever, right?
Yeah. I was trying to think about other ones that were worth a damn, and I'm having a hard time.
Yep.
But I mean, yeah, they had great chemistry and vignettes, and although I don't think it's necessarily obscene to say it, I think Goldust is better now than he was then, because I
Yes.
think he's in much better shape.
Oh yeah.
But neither of them were slouches in the ring at this point.
Not at all.
And you put them in there with Christian and Chris Jericho, and it should work. And this match, it's not bad. This is the best match from the Raw side all night.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where they were given too little time to really build up something
Too
great.
little time, and the ring malfunctions on them too.
Yeah, which
It's like honestly
props
the
to
most
Jericho.
notable thing about the match. Yeah, and that's the thing. They improv'd off it so well that like part of me was thinking, it's like, wait, was that supposed to happen? And then they kind of showed the replay and showed how hard Jericho kind of came down on it. It's like, no, that's definitely not in the
No,
script.
no, it's not. But yeah, yeah. So a good little opener.
Pretty much just
Nothing you turn off, nothing you actively seek out. It comes up and you're like, yeah, I can watch this.
yeah. And you kind of mentioned it, but issue was that it gets 8 minutes in total, and so it's pretty much time for like hot baby face stuff. Goldust playing face in peril, hot tag, finish. Not much else.
Yep, yep. Jericho wins off a bulldog onto the title and then a
Because
moonsault.
we know that Jericho or that Kane Triple H needed 20 minutes.
I'm not gonna disagree with that statement. Nothing involving Cage should go 20 minutes unless it's a backstage segment.
And then they go, and it's something where there was a lengthy video package, but then they also add like a really long interview on it, which I think was to give the ring crew a little more time for
Yeah, was this the where they brought out Funaki, SmackDown #1
yes,
announcer?
for the
Yes. Who doesn't love Funaki?
feud of the century. Tori Wilson and Don Marie.
God. Ugh. Was this such a clusterfuck?
And little kind of, I'm pretty sure, God, I betting on the fact that I think I was in the arena for their wedding. That horrible wedding they ran on SmackDown.
Was that not the greatest moment of your
Oh,
wrestling life?
absolutely.
To watch that live? Who doesn't love a wrestling wedding?
Either that or I went to the one right after that and they kept showing like highlights of it because I distinctly remember that aspect.
Huh.
But that had the main event of, that was I don't know if you've ever seen it, the Brock Lesnar Matt Hardy match where Lesnar like cuts the back of his head open. And he's
Oh
just
yeah.
like
Yeah.
oozing blood out there.
Yes. A theme. A theme that we'll see later on. But yeah, the match. But I don't even really want to call it a match. Because it feels like offensive to matches everywhere. Both of the wrestling and fire starting variety.
Yeah, this was horrible.
Yeah. The end. It went 4 minutes of my life that I'll never get back.
But can we kind of talk about Don Marie's ring gear?
If you would like to.
It was like your standard, spandex type thing, but then there were like random. It was like something that came out of Brutus Beefcakes.
Uh,
And it's all like this implied sexiness, but there's this little cut over ass crack, and yeah, it's like, okay, I can kind of see what you're going for, but I don't think you pulled it off very well. It's just awkward looking.
Yeah.
But then everything improves with an RVD promo.
God. Yeah. Not only did I have to watch a fucking RVD match, a terrible one, I had to fucking watch a promo.
And this was like right before Evolution really got started. Triple H and Flair had just kind of gotten together, but they hadn't introduced the other people involved yet. So.
Yep.
But yeah, RVD does the promo where he talks about how he's not Ric Flair, and then like he tries to riff on like the jet flying, limousine riding, wheeling dealing, and he just does it in this entirely like he was complete. Well, I'm sure he was baked out of his mind, but just it made no sense at all.
Has there ever been an RVD promo that made sense?
Some of his ECW stuff where he played like the more natural heel, I thought, for RVD stuff isn't bad, but this was bad.
Yeah. And then he went on and put on a shitty match.
Yes, I mean, at this point, Flair is clearly to the point where he really shouldn't be in the ring anymore. And yet he keep wrestling for what, another 5 years and then wrestle again after that? Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that. Woo! Sorry, I just felt the need to do that. But holy shit, it was this match bad.
Yeah, it was not good.
God. Just Flair having to sit there and like take RVD step by step through roll-ups was just miserable.
Yeah, they were definitely not on the same page, and they were
It was a shit show.
pretty much.
It's one of those things where Styles did make a match, and it made for a shitty match. But hey, you get Kane soon.
Oh boy.
Is that next? I always forget what happened on this card. No? Oh, we get the cruiserweights next, don't we? It was a fun match until the end. For the post-match stuff.
I don't know. It all kind of worked for me, but RVD goes over clean.
Yeah. RVD goes over clean.
I mean, the finish isn't great, but I mean, I don't think it's compared to some of the other shit we see on this show. It's fine.
High praise there, Mike.
And I think the rest of the match is fun enough. But before we do that, we've got Bischoff, Steph.
Did you just say you thought the rest of the RVD?
No. No, I was
Wait, what were you
moving
talking
on
about?
to the cruiserweight match, but it's like before we talk about that.
Okay, I thought you were still talking about the RVD match with the finish, and
No.
I'm like, what? No, I actually kind of liked the finish of the cruiserweight match. I thought it was a nicer version.
Okay. Well, I thought that's what you were mentioning whenever it's like, well, that was fun until the...
No, the post-match stuff was just...
But, we get Big Show, Bischoff, and Stephanie, which ends up, like, leading to the Big Show going to SmackDown and, like, Heyman turning on
everyone
Brock.
Coming to Raw.
So, but then it's the Cruiserweight title match. It's Jamie Noble to Tajiri. And, this match is fun.
Yes, it is. It does not stop from the minute the bell rings.
Lots of stuff involved with Nydia, but I like Nydia in this role. Because it seems like, it's dedication to the character, it feels like. It's not somebody who's just kind of half-assing it, and the character's not the best character in the world, but it fucking worked.
I kind of liked the finish bit where instead of causing like the face to screw up, she actually prevented Noble from falling over, and that's what got him the
Yeah.
pin. I kind of like that. That was a nice little twist on the getting involved.
And I have to admit, maybe I'm a little softer, maybe I'm a little more positive on the role because like Nydia and Daisy Dukes and everything and being slutty, I don't have an issue with it.
She just doesn't particularly do it for me.
You don't have a thing for like the sluttiest girl down at the trailer park?
No, I'm not from Minnesota.
I'm not from Minnesota.
Or Texas, whatever, same difference. One's colder and partially Canadian.
It is weird how rednecky it is up here, considering that they're practically Canada.
Dude, have you been to Canada? There's a shit ton of
But
rednecks in
here,
Canada. Are you kidding me? Canada is mostly rednecks.
it's, as I said, I mean, I grew up in Texas around some fucking country ass people. And in Minnesota, it feels like they're trying so hard to be like the redneck that they see on TV. It feels very fake in a lot of senses. And watch, I'm gonna get lots of hate mail from like rural Minnesotans because of it.
That would require rural Minnesotans having the internet.
Okay, now they just sent it to you instead, so I'm off the hook.
That's what I'm here for, is to take the hate mail heat. I'm sure we'll get emails from Canadians about how they're not rednecks.
Well, I'm sure they'll probably be like, well, I'm not, but the rest of Canada is.
No, they're apologizing. I'm sorry you had a bad experience with Canadian rednecks and all. Because some stereotypes are true, and it is that Canadians are nice. Unless they're from Quebec, then they're dicks.
You just want to go off and piss off the entire world tonight, don't you?
Listen here, Zimbabwe.
Your money isn't worth very much. I was that too. Is that too obscure for people to get? I assume most people know.
I don't think so. That's kind of like it goes the Deutschmark, and then Zimbabwe is the prime perfect examples of hyperinflation.
The $1 trillion bills.
Yeah. But hey, aren't you excited for Kane?
Oh boy. I did like the little segment before this though.
What was it?
Where apparently, they kind of showed it on the lead up a few weeks before Los Guerreros had surprised Angle and Benoit.
Oh, is that what this
Yeah.
is? Yes, yeah,
By
yeah.
telling them, I think it was they told Angle, they either told Angle or they told Benoit that the other one was getting beat up in a closet. And then whenever they went to go check it out, they jumped him from behind. And so Benoit goes to Guerrero and tells him that Angle is beating up Chavo in a closet. Eddie doesn't believe him, and then it ends up being true.
Listen, man, that's a girl's scream, all right? You think I'm stupid, huh?
And then it also kind of made me sad because, as we kind of talked about before on like our WrestleMania 21, it's very much kind of tragic figures there.
22.
But,
I think you mean WrestleMania 22.
What did I say?
21.
I meant 20. Not 22.
Oh yeah, 20. Is that one? Yeah, 20. What? God, we both fucked that up. Damn it.
I'm putting it all on you. I'm going to edit my version out so it only looks like you screwed up. That is the power of the edit button.
Dick.
But then, yes, we get Rex's match of the night. Triple H defending the world title against Kane. And God, this match was horrible.
Hey, at least it only went 16 minutes.
You know,
It could have been
the
worse.
Katie Vick stuff. This is the kind of match that.
But what do you expect? It was a singles match.
No, don't just put it on that, because Triple H was fucking terrible in this match. I'd argue that he was worse than Kane. I'd argue that Save,
Ooh,
because
I wouldn't go
Kane
that
is at
far.
least trying. I think,
I would say they both sucked. Let's be honest.
you know,
They both
you
sucked.
could make a case that Save the SmackDown women who, were barely fucking trained, that Triple H had the worst performance on this entire show. And then you go off and you call him
Oh
underrated.
no,
And
this is your. This is your. Okay, well let's take one match. Hey, you know what?
we
We
could
just saw
take
Ric
like
Flair and RVD
years
put on
of
this shit
his
fest.
life, and we could point to
Oh
it.
come on. Oh come on. Hey, look at that. Ric Flair had a shitty match with RVD. Fuck him. Ric Flair sucks.
You could pretty much point to Triple H from like 2002 to like fucking 2010, it feels like. And most of the performances are going to be pretty fucking shitty.
You'd be wrong on that, but I'm not gonna defend him here. This was a shitty match. It's still shortly after the return from a severe injury,
He returned in
Triple H,
January.
and it's Kane.
This is October.
Yeah, that's
9 months. 9 months of
that's.
work.
Do you understand the severity of a quad tear and the injury he went through?
Triple H
It's not something that
this
even when you
morning.
come back. It's not even when you come back. You still are fucked up for a long, long time.
Kurt Angle tore 2 this morning.
Kurt Angle is held together by actual stitches. Like he's the fucking Frankenstein's monster. But yes, this was a shitty match by all involved, except Ric Flair. Because it turned into an overbooked mess.
God, it's so terrible. Oh, can we talk about like the shitty booking that kind of went through our actual main event? The past girlfriend of The Undertaker?
Is that what that was?
Yes.
I was really confused as to what was going on, and I'm just like, I don't care about any of this, and kind of tuned out.
Named Tracy, who apparently was Undertaker's girlfriend several years ago, and now that Taker's wife Sarah was pregnant, she's back in the picture claiming that they've been together and that she didn't know he was married. And then she confesses it's all a ruse to Stephanie.
Yeah.
Even when the wrestling's really good, sometimes the stories kind of suck.
Yeah. How did Lesnar and Heyman tie into that?
Heyman was the one that like brought her to TV and kind of convinced her to tell the lie, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Best I can tell. Don't take my word for it.
All right.
But yeah. But then we get the tag team title, the other tag team title finale. Ray and Edge against Benoit and Angle. Neither team had an actual name, but it didn't really matter.
No, and it was fucking fantastic.
And it's like especially so because it doesn't play into any of like the tag. There's not really like a real face in peril formula in it. There's a little bit, but like neither side is really healing out. And so they play with it in certain areas where like it seems like there's going to be a hot tag, and then they both get a tag, and there's a double hot tag, and there's.
Yeah, and then there's Edge trying to mat wrestle really shittily. Ugh. But I love this match. Are you there,
I'm
Mike?
here. I was letting you.
Paige and Dr. Mike?
I was letting you talk.
No. That's all I had to say,
Okay.
really.
You don't want to go into explanation about why you love this match or things about it, or?
No, I just want to say I love this match. I'm just that floored by it. No, honestly, there was a lot of creative shit. Like, I really enjoyed the. Oh, God, I don't even know what to call it. Like, fucking Edge just launching Rey Mysterio over him backwards into Angle.
And they played around but with some of the like counters and everything. Like the 619 was countered a couple times, and
As it should be. The shittiest shit. God, I hate that move so much.
it's I'm not gonna defend that move. But and they're busting out all kinds of stuff, and
I just loved like Edge trying to like reverse into an ankle lock and shit, and it was terrible, terrible. The one right, and then Angle's like, you know what, fuck this, shows him how to do it right, and then boom, Edge taps. That's the end of the match. Oh, it just cracked me up. And Angle did it all with a broken fucking neck
yes, and lots of drugs,
and lots of drugs.
obviously. And then you get Undertaker.
Kurt Angle was that Girl Scout from Dodgeball and Beaver Tranquilizer.
Speaking of drugs, we get the Undertaker threatening a doctor who does not think it's ethical to give him, I guess, some kind of painkiller injection, but threatens him into it.
God, there was just so much insanely stupid shit on this show. God.
And then we get a cool down match.
Yeah, this was.
Trish and Victoria, they have a much better match the next month at Survivor Series.
Yeah, you can tell this is not really having clicked with each other
Yeah.
yet. Because the elements are there. It's just everything's a clusterfuck.
Then they're
It's
only
just
given a
so
little amount of
like-
time, which I'm not sure if more time would have necessarily helped, but
No, I think it would have severely hurt this match. I mean, the Stratisfaction gets fucked up. I mean, nearly everything in this match just gets fucked up. They just didn't know how to work with each other yet.
And something must have clicked by the next month,
Yeah.
which we reviewed, Survivor Series 2002. So go back and find it. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
go back and find
shameless plug us. We deserve it. And then we get our main event.
Yes.
Hell in the Cell for the title. Lesnar versus Taker. And holy shit, is this brutal.
Yeah, even fucking Heyman gets cut open. Do you think he bladed? He had to blade,
I would
right?
guess so.
How amazing would that have been if fucking Heyman went the hard way? How great would that have been?
You just mentioned that. I'm assuming you've read like Foley's first book,
That's been so long.
where he's telling the story
thought-
about how he wanted Race to open up hard way, and Race kept missing whenever he was supposed to punch him like right on the eyebrow.
No, I hadn't. I don't remember that.
But whenever you mention that, it's like that's kind of what I'm thinking about. It's just what happens if it goes wrong.
Yeah. God, there was so much blood in
Yeah.
this match. And Lesnar just absolutely bumping his ass off.
Which I mean, there are things that you can kind of nitpick. Undertaker's hand injury kind of miraculously goes away, I guess because he got that.
Obviously, because he got the pain shot, bro. Weren't you paying attention? Continuity.
But this was the match that I kind of thought about whenever it's like, oh, I'm sure the WrestleMania match is going to be fine. I mean, even take it out of it. These guys had chemistry at one point in time. I don't think you lose that. And then I turned out to be wildly mistaken.
Well, that's just what happens when you become an old, broken down man. You know what the problem was? He didn't have the painkiller. The doctor wasn't there.
The doctor was fired for being grossly negligent.
Since when did? Oh wait, I was gonna say like since when do dead men need painkillers? But this is Biker Taker.
Yes. With the best theme song in history. The one with the chorus always kicking assholes' asses.
Yeah, we know you love Limp Bizkit.
No, this was post Limp Bizkit.
This
Yes.
was? Oh. See, I don't pay much attention to the theme songs like
Well,
you
that's
do.
because I have to pick them for the show. Whenever I heard that he's coming out for that, it's like, oh yeah, the time makes sense for that. Awesome. That's why I'm opening the show with. It's the "You're Gonna Pay," the one with lyrics.
So I gotta say, though, God damn it, watching this just reemphasized this, watching No Mercy, how much I hate the fucking, I don't know what to call it, just the interface of the network when you're in a show. I hate that fucking dot. That dot makes me want to murder
Why?
things. Because I can't ever get it to, like, go to the part I want, and then sometimes it just stops working. I'll hit, like, pause, play, and then I have to reload if I want to fucking pause the thing. But then that requires me trying to get that dot back at the spot I was at, and there's no actual fucking time measurement while I'm doing the, scrolling across to the side. Fuck that interface. I'm so glad they're trying to fix it.
I take it you watch it on your computer.
Yeah.
Okay. On the PS3 it works great, and they've got whenever it's like dots, it's like what? Like the dots, they're like the opening and the closing of the matches, and that's a great. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, those dots are awesome. Except sometimes they don't exist.
Yeah, for some of the WCW shows.
Like, or some of the WWE shows, like where any show where Benoit's on.
Well, that's only for
It's
Eddie's
just like this.
segment that they.
No, they didn't have it for the tag match either.
Well, that's what I mean. Only like for his match, the rest of the show had the dots. But then you could kind of.
Did it even have it?
Yes.
Did it even have it for the segment with him?
Well,
Huh.
not for his segment, but they don't do backstage segments. They just do the match starting, match ending.
I thought some of them had the
I don't
segment.
believe none of the ones
Dots
I've
for the
seen have.
segments.
If you have
Huh.
some examples, people out there, send them in to us. Let us know.
Yeah, we'll go
Yeah.
watch it.
But even then, though, I mean, you can kind of guess that the giant gap where there's no dots, that's where the match is going to be, and like the build up to the match.
Yeah, I sat there for a second. I went, holy shit! There's no way Triple H Kane went that long, and I'm like, oh, that's right. The tag match had been won.
You wish the Triple H match went that long.
No, I never want to see Kane and Triple H
You
go
need
that
more
long.
time to like rub to feel yourself up while you're watching Triple H.
God, I feel like my joke response should be here is I never need that long when I'm watching Triple H.
One thing I noticed with this main event, though, technically, Paul Heyman has never managed Brock Lesnar. He was his agent, now he's his advocate.
Yeah. So now Paul Heyman can't be the greatest manager of all time, can he? Oh, motherfucker.
He managed the Dangerous Alliance.
It doesn't make him better than Bobby Heenan.
Oh, but my money's still on Cornette, so.
Of course. God.
And then Heyman's number 2. Do you know why?
Why?
Because
Giants.
Cornette managed Bobby Eaton for a long time. Heyman managed Bobby Eaton for a short time.
It all comes down to Bobby Eaton, doesn't it?
Bobby Heenan never managed Bobby Eaton, even though they were both Bobbies. So
that's why you couldn't do it.
WWE would have made one of them change their name. It would have been Billy Eaton.
I guess so.
And then Billy Gunn would have been like Barry Gunn. And then Barry Windham would have been Brad Windham.
Then what would Brad Maddox be?
Well, then he could be Bobby again because Heenan's not here anymore.
That's true.
Well, I mean, in the company. Obviously, Heenan's still with us.
As far as we know.
With all his health issues, I mean, I know that clearly that's going to be a day that's going to make me sad.
What,
Yeah.
Keenan? Oh, yeah.
See, now you made me sad. You bastard.
That's what you get for making me watch a 16-minute Triple H Kane match in 2002.
But he's one of your underrated and underappreciated. You should appreciate the opportunity to watch more Triple H.
Not when he's wrestling Kane, no. Kat, is there a great Kane match? Singles match? Even one that you could call very good? Like, I enjoy Kane the character throughout the years, but I was just thinking about this the other day, like, God, I can't think of a very good or great Kane match.
Nothing comes off the top of my head. I mean, the match, it didn't go long enough to be anything, but the match where, like, him and Big Show go out on Raw and just chain wrestle for 5 minutes is a lot of fun.
Oh, yes. That was the greatest thing of all time. God damn it. That was the greatest thing of all time.
But that's, like, the only thing that's coming to me.
Statement amended. There has been one.
So we flew through that fucking show and everything. Admittedly, our news, we didn't have a ton to talk about, but...
Yeah.
Well, because it's the weird... There are no, like, menial matches where we had a lot of minutia to talk about it. So they're really good. Go fucking see it. You know, tons of spots. Or really bad, we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Shit
But-
we can't give justice to, or shit we don't want to talk about.
Yeah. Pretty much. Well, okay. I got one for you. What's the best Hell in a Cell match?
I'm gonna go with
I think we...
Taker Sean. But
Okay.
I think this
What,
one-
not Triple H Batista?
I've actually never seen that one.
It's actually a really, really good match. It doesn't compare to these two, but a lot of people call it the best Hell in a Cell.
Is that just
And those are
lowered
people that I
expectations?
tell. No, it's legitimately great. Just I don't think it's as great as these two Hell in a Cells.
And clearly, I'm sure it doesn't touch the majesty of Triple H and Shawn in the cell. I mean, that match went like an hour. That's two of the all-time best.
Majesty, that is the perfect word to describe that match.
By the way, if you ever pick that show, I don't know what show that is, but if you ever pick that, you are reviewing it alone.
Oh, so you're saying I can get you off the podcast for a week, huh? Oh, let me see. Let me go look that up now, because it is my pick next week. Hell in a Cell.
So even with the goofy shit, this show is an easy thumbs up.
Yeah, I mean, you got a great tag match, great Hell in a Cell, a fun cruiserweight.
And then other stuff that you might want to skip past.
Yeah. Talking about Bad Blood 2004?
Probably.
Emanating from Columbus, Ohio?
I warn you. You'll have to find like Casey or someone to review it with you.
It only goes 47 minutes, all right? Dude, and it's also got Eugene and Jonathan Coachman. Come on.
All right, so shut your mouth.
And Shelton Benjamin gets a title shot. That's not what we're reviewing next week. Next week, I actually think we're going to have a lot of minutia and a lot of things to talk about.
All right, so...
we might need some extra time for next week. Fair warning.
So who's your MVP and who is your LVP?
My MVP is Brock Lesnar.
Okay.
for being the greatest big guy salesman of all time and just fucking bumping his ass off and bleeding all over the place. God, there's a lot of ways to go with this next one.
Better not take my pick.
Want to take Triple H away from you? Dawn Marie.
All right. All right. My MVP was going to be Rey Mysterio.
Uh-huh.
Because fucking Rey with kneecaps is a beautiful thing. Since he no longer has knees, he's become sad. But like whenever he was able, obviously it's kind of like Foley. The amazing things he did in that ring have taken years off his physical well-being and probably off his life in the long-term scheme of things. But God, he was so fucking magical. And LVP is gonna be Mr. COO.
Shocker.
You can't act like he didn't deserve it.
I'm sorry. You watched Dawn Marie
At least they didn't know any better.
and Tori Wilson wrestle, and you're gonna tell me that.
They only went 4 minutes. If there is
some of that overbooked nonsense was a little fun once Flair got
if
involved.
there was any justice in the world, Triple H Kane would have only gone.
Oh my God! How the fuck? Screw that! It's not Dawn Marie. RVD is my LVP. Fuck RVD. I've had to watch him cut a promo and wrestle a terrible match with Ric Flair. Fuck RVD. That is my LVP. Why was that slipping my mind?
So as far as like shittiest angles of the last few years, I know it's gonna feel like I'm dumping on the whole thing anymore. Fucking Katie Vick's got to be up there.
What?
Worst angles of the last 15 years. I said 10, but I realized that that's like 11 years ago. So that is just that was like WWE at its TNA-est.
Yes. And didn't TNA run a similar angle at one point?
I don't know if it ever had someone raping a mannequin, but maybe some of the Abyss stupidity.
I don't know. Yeah. But don't worry, we're getting into booking stupidity next week.
Should I be excited or should I be worried?
I don't know. How do you feel about Hulk Hogan?
Not positive, generally.
All right. How do you feel about Hulk Hogan in 1997?
Less positive.
How do you feel about... Oh, let's see what else there is on here. Hey, I get you some Guerrero Malenko.
Okay. Slight uptick.
So, yeah, we're going to do a Starrcade 97. We haven't done it. I can't believe we've gone this many episodes and we haven't touched arguably the most infamous pay-per-view of all time.
All right.
Are you excited for Bret Hart, special guest referee?
Not particularly.
You're not?
Oh, God.
You don't want to see Larry Zbyszko wrestle Eric Bischoff?
No. Isn't there like
Why?
this random like NWOC team against like Jerry Flynn and Fit Finley on there too?
No. It's Norton, Vincent Savage, good old Virgil. Good old Virgil against the Steiner Bros.
Is that it? Maybe it's 98.
And
There's
Ray
this
Traylor.
this really weird like jobber tag team match that was added at the last minute.
Yeah. Yes, Buff and Lex Luger go 16 minutes in 1997. I forgot that was on here. Yes.
Oh boy. Oh yeah, it was '98 where it was Brian Adams and Scott Norton against Fit Finlay and Jerry Flynn. That's on
Okay.
the
Well,
biggest
Scott.
pay-per-view of WCW's year. Oh, WCW, you're such a bitch mistress.
Yep. Yep. So you excited?
Oh, absolutely. I know that Sting is your favorite wrestler of all time,
He
next to Triple
is.
H.
But they're all below RVD, really. I just realize that more and more as time goes on. Like, even watching some of his old ECW stuff, like, fuck, God damn it, RVD.
You know that you're gonna do like an underrated and underappreciated on RVD.
No, if I did, it would be another overrated special.
You just want to go back and watch those Jerry Lynn matches where it was Spot, lay down and sell for 5 minutes. Spot, lay down and sell for 5 minutes. All right, so what do you have going on this week?
I don't know.
That's not a good answer.
Stuff and things. I don't know. We'll see.
Although it is kind of the end of the week since we're recording this on Thursday night.
Yeah, I'm still recovering. I just finished finals. I'm exhausted.
Nobody cares.
You know what? There might be someone who cares out there.
Oh, it's so hard being a student.
No, it's not. It's just tiring. Tiring.
Or as opposed to me, who just had like one of the worst work weeks of my life. So
Oh, why didn't you say something, man? I would have given you like a Skype hug. Hug it out. Here's
well,
a
I
hug,
mentioned
bro.
when to record last night that I was working until midnight your time, but yeah, in my particular field, which I know that people that know it's kind of retail stuff, we were open for Easter, and I wanted to murder everybody I saw.
Yeah, I worked both my jobs on Easter. It was fun.
Were they busy or?
Um, yes and no. One was, one wasn't.
Because we did more than we'd done in months on our shift on that day, and it
Uh-huh.
was me. I was in charge, which first of all, horrible idea.
Holy shit, yeah. Who
We
the
usually
fuck
have 4
decided
people
that?
on a shift. We had 3. It was me in charge, someone who'd been there a few months and kind of knew what he was doing, and someone who'd been there like a fucking week. And so, yeah, as I said, I wanted to murder everybody. But anyway, it's
Yep.
all over now. They can't hurt me anymore. I had my first day off in what felt like a month today.
That's good. I'm happy for you.
It should be. Should be.
I am. I'm legitimately happy for you.
And honestly, much better Thursday than last week. Oh, don't drink, people. It's a bad idea.
Oh God, I forgot. I forgot reading about that. I was just like, oh damn. Dude, you're getting old. You can't pull that shit anymore.
Yeah, I mentioned it on like one of the sites, but I went out last Thursday with my friends from work and I drank way, way, way too much.
So you're gonna hate me for this, but I've never gotten a hangover before. And I have tested the limits
I
of what my
like
body can handle.
99% of the time I don't, but like on that particular night, yeah, I just went over the limit. I had a slight one, and before that, I'd never had one from just alcohol.
I can't ever say I've had one.
You know, there have been times where, and fuck it, I'm editing all this off anyway.
Aw.
I don't think people really want to hear me telling stories about being in college, getting really drunk, and then someone saying, "Here, you should try this weed," and then me getting sick from that. So yeah, I'm editing it all.
You don't know. Maybe that's what the people want. People power.
Which I
Let
had
them
never
decide.
tried before, and as I said, I was already like shit faced and a half whenever that happened. And then I passed out and I think I threw up in their fridge. Or I either threw up or I pissed in their fridge, one or the other. I don't have very many drunken stories because I don't drink very often. But whenever I do, they're usually pretty good ones.
Yeah, I tend not to try and get drunk anymore. Oh, my most epic nights of drinking always started with sushi and sake. And then the night just would devolve from there. A couple of those were in Russia, and then New York City, just like sushi and sake is like the trigger of like shit's gonna get insane.
I don't know if I could do like sushi or anything in Russia. That sounds scary.
Oh, dude, they have such bone sushi there. It's amazing. Like they
To me, it'd
for
be like
one,
trying sushi in Argentina. No, there's nothing about that
oh
sounds
no
like
no
it'd be a
that
good
like
idea.
no, because well, Moscow has some of the top sushi chefs in the world. But I actually okay, sorry. It was sushi and sake in Siberia for one of them. But it was Vladivostok, which is right next to North Korea, but it's right across from Japan. So they actually have a lot of Japanese immigrants there. So they have some amazing fucking sushi.
Was it like
And then a Russian pimp. Like I'm pretty sure the guy was a pimp because we were in this bar, and he was like this weird, like hippie looking motherfucker, and he's just like, "So guys, what do you like? Blonde, brown hair, tall, short, whatever you want, I get." And I'm like, what the fuck? Is that a hippie pimp?
we could have an entire different podcast, just drunken adventures with Mike and Rex, and just invite people on to tell their drunken adventures.
Oh my God, how's that not been a podcast yet?
It's probably like 90 podcasts, to be honest. I doubt there's not any originality out there, I'm sure. Let's see, Drunken Stories podcast. Let's see what comes up.
I mean, there's drunk history, which is amazing.
Yeah, it looks like there's definitely some, but not as many as I'd kind of think so.
Yeah. Maybe it's just because all podcasts eventually devolve into telling different stories.
Probably.
Ugh.
All right, so next week you pick the 90s WCW.
Yeah, not early 90s though.
Well, I've actually made a list. And
Oh God.
what? I like lists, okay? And for the next like while at least I'm going to try and knock some of these off the list of just
Uh-oh. So we can get every single early 90s WCW
No, actually I
pay-per-view
want
knocked
to
off the
try and
list?
do like every promotion every year, at least for the major stuff.
Ooh, I was thinking about picking All Japan at one point.
Well, and even with that, I was going to at least start with like WWE Network. So like there are some WWE years that we've never reviewed a show from, and so like pick a show from that year, kind of thing, you know?
Oh, okay. That's cool.
But then I might change my mind and just decide, no, I need more Midnight Express. So
You need Bad Blood
no,
2004.
I do not.
Sorry, I probably will never pick Bad Blood 2004. I've seen that match a couple times. I'm okay with it. I just don't know if I want to sit through it again.
I'm hoping that we've already picked a WWE 2004 event. So
I don't know if we have.
gee, I'd walk off the podcast at that point. I would quit.
If I, huh.
If that's something you want on your conscience, you're like, yeah,
I could live with that, I think. I could live with that.
we have done a WWE 2000.
You're just making this more
We've done
enticing
two, in fact.
to pick.
We have done two WWE 2000.
Really?
Yes. WrestleMania 20 and Armageddon 2004.
Oh, that's right. 20 was that year.
And then Armageddon 2004 was on our Month of Bad Wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to wonder, was like the brand split really good idea? But is there any
I don't
good
know.
brand split pay-per-views?
Where it's just like a single
Yeah.
brand? There's
You
gotta
would
be.
think so.
I'm positive there are plenty, actually.
I mean, but it's just all the ones that we've kind of looked at have always been.
Bad Blood 2004, for example.
You shut up, you bastard.
Not only did it have 47 minutes of Triple H, HBK, and Hell in a Cell, it had Kane wrestling for the title again.
Was it Kane Goldberg or?
Kane Benoit.
Oh, okay.
So possibly a decent Kane match.
Oh yeah, Goldberg was 2005, huh?
Yeah. Have we watched Goldberg WWE?
Oh wait,
No,
yeah,
wait, I think we
WrestleMania
did.
20. So Goldberg
Yeah,
was 2003. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm way off on my shit right now.
I know, it's like you're being me right now. What the fuck?
I'm sorry, I'm not Mr. Trivial Pursuit for you right now.
What do you think you are on the podcast for? Is to be that person. That's it. Bad Blood 2004. Next.
No, you already said Starrcade 97.
Fine, my next pick then. God, just calling my shot early.
I will punish you.
I don't see how. I've already watched enough early 90s WCW.
I will find the longest El Gigante matches.
That's fine. I can deal with that. Just for the sheer glee I would get out of the knowledge that you had to sit down and watch Triple H and HBK and a Hell in a Cell for 47 minutes.
I'll refuse.
We already watched our SummerSlam match,
Yes.
didn't we? How much?
And I hated
How
that
much
one.
more could you? I know you did. It brings me so much glee.
Because you're a troll. You're an evil, evil person.
I'm not a troll. I'm sadistic. Alright, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
So you could just go get ready, brace your body for 3 weeks from now.
I will. I do happen to have a 4-hour Florida compilation I just downloaded. Maybe that could be my pick for next week.
And you know what I will show up with? Sorry, I couldn't find it anywhere.
In that case, I'll have to get your address now and mail you a flash drive full of like shitty, hard to find wrestling.
If you did that, I would be perfectly okay with that.
At least you won't have to go looking for it.
Yeah. I will watch bad wrestling if it delivers itself to my house.
All right.
Well, let's get on out of here.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. This has been God. This has been episode 58. And thinking they're going to get like an hour and a half of wrestling talk, and yet it ends up being like us bickering and drunken stories, which I decided I'm leaving in.
Oh, okay. You know what the best thing is?
What?
The night with the Russian pimp. I haven't even told the whole story that night. That's just the first 2 hours. Shit gets crazier. I will say the Armenian mob gets involved at one point.
All right, so this has been episode 58 of Off the Top Rope Pro Wrestling Podcast. Be sure to tune in next week. We'll be talking the news of the week as well as our event, which the news of the week is going to include TNA Sacrifice, which I know Rex is so excited about.
Oh God, is that this
Yes.
Sunday? Shit.
See there, I'll find some TNA if you pick Bad Blood 2004.
I can live with that.
With extra Dixie.
Can we do the Sting Jeff Hardy pay-per-view?
All right, but news of the week as well as our event, which is Starrcade 97. For Rex, this is Mike. We'll see you all next week.
Later, folks.
Chris